So recently I returned from teachings by His Holiness, the Dalai Lama, and I've noticed for the last years, actually, that I've gone to his teachings. He usually begins with a few things that has some relevance to what's been going on in this country today, I think. So he first begins talking about how we're all the same and that we all want happiness and we don't want suffering. And then he calls on us to step up to take responsibility to help to create a happy humanity. And then he talks about how all religions teach the same points: love, compassion, courage, ethics, tolerance. And then he stresses the importance of religious harmony. And so this last week in Charleston, we were witness to really the points His Holiness was speaking about. These survivors of this terrible incident in Charleston really show us how to practice love, compassion, courage, tolerance in the face of really senseless violence. And so I just wanted to share a few examples that really touched my heart, actually. So at the first court hearing for the suspect in the Charleston church, many family members of the deceased spoke. And in the New York Times, they reported some of their what they spoke about. And the writer of this article starts out with, "One by one, they looked to the screen in a corner of the courtroom on Friday into the expressionless face of the young man charged with making them motherless, snuffing out the life of a promising son, taking away a loving wife for good, bringing a grandmother's life to a horrific end. And they all answered him with forgiveness." Nadine Collier, the daughter of a 70-year-old woman, Ethel Lance, said to the fellow in the church, into the courtroom, she said, "You took something very precious away from me. I will never talk to her ever again. I will never be able to hold her again, but I forgive you." So it was as if this Bible study had really never ended. As one after another, the victim's family members offered lessons in forgiveness, testaments to a faith that is not compromised by violence or grief. I think that's a powerful statement there. Testaments to a faith that is not compromised by violence or grief. So the statements offered a moment of grace, really, in a day when the details about this massacre really had stunned the nation and really echoed a long history of racial violence. And then again yesterday, during the service at Emmanuel AME Church, they opened their doors, and it was just jam-packed with many people. They had to put people downstairs in the basement and I think outside. All colors of people were there. And one of the speakers was a pastor named Jermaine Watkins. And he said that what unites us is stronger than what divides us. And he went on to say, "To hatred we say no way, not today. To racism we say no way, not today. To division we say no way, not today. To reconciliation we say yes. To loss of hope we say no way, not today. To a racial war we say no way, not today. To racial fear we say no way, not today. Charleston, together we say no way, not today." So this Emmanuel AME Church has survived many, many, many difficulties regarding, racial prejudice. There were laws before the Civil War barring black worship. There was an angry white mob that burned down the original church and the execution of its founder, and dozens of others planning a slave revolt. So when this white gunman fatally shot 9 of its members, including the head pastor, during a Bible study, there was really only one way, the church leaders said, to respond, and that was by pressing forward. And so they opened their doors, they displayed this unity, and that was just after 4 days when this terrible incident happened. And so, to me, this really demonstrates love and compassion in action. This is really, when we practice equanimity, love, compassion, try to generate the great resolve and bodhicitta, this really is a really clear example of what that means. And this is so powerful. It was interesting to me how that whole community responded in this way. Then the conversation kind of in the media took off on other things, like why are people still flying the Confederate flag? And so other stories started getting told, and other ways of looking at what also needs to be righted. So I think this is really a good example of where we can turn our practice, how we can look to see where we are judging, look to see where we find strangers and enemies around us, where we can really start opening our hearts, and especially to those that perpetrate violence. The victims, their karma ripened, and, of course, so sad. But the perpetrators, they have their suffering coming in the future. They're the ones that need our compassion and our love and our tolerance, really. So may we all really focus on our practice and use this experience as a way to develop our love and compassion in a very deep way for the benefit of all.